Hey Stylish Mamas. So my DIY for my children's room is going to be this dresser. The color's super cool. It's just really ragged and it's torn up and it has stuff on it and it's old and we can't actually, and there's stains and we can't get it off. We tried to like clean it and it didn't really work. So I thought, hey, I might as well try and repaint it and see what I could come up with. So I follow on Instagram Vintage La Mesa, and they ended up coming out with new paint last week. And I saw it, and the fact that this paint, you don't have to prime and prep and do anything with your items. You could just paint right on old paint. So to me, that was perfect. And it's water-based. And I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get this paint. So I got a hold of them, and then I went down there and I literally bought the paint. I bought boho gray, and it was just perfect for the kids' room. It wasn't too, they had other colors that were definitely in the vintage schemes, and I think they were all great, but I really wanted to still kind of stay with the neutral, especially with the gray, because then I could utilize that in another room eventually. So I decided to go there and get that. And Shandice is really great. She helped me. I met her last year in May at Fashion Week, San Diego, and her and I started talking, and since then we've kind of been in touch a little bit, and I'm all about supporting small businesses, local businesses, and especially I love vintage, and her whole shop's vintage. So it's been super cool. You should definitely check them out. They are definitely unique when it comes to in La Mesa area. So she hooked me up with the paint and it's called sealant. And that's the stuff you put on at the end. Check out my video, my DIY. It's a beautiful Saturday morning and we are painting today. I'm painting this for the kids' room. It's really a mess right now, so I'm looking forward to painting it. We went to Vintage La Mesa and we got some awesome paint there. Boho gray vintage mud paint, and you can use this on walls, decor, frames, glass, mirrors, everything. So I'm kind of excited to see how this turns out. So here we go. I really wanted to distress my vintage paint, and I had a too low. I think my grit was too low, or maybe it was too high. My grit wasn't right. It needed to be 600 grit of sandpaper, and I think mine was like 236 or something super low, and it just completely took off the paint. Today I am sanding. We're gonna see how this, oh no, it just completely just like came off. Yeah, so I don't mean to be sanding like that. That's not a good sand. That's not what we wanted. Super bummed, so I had to repaint. Now there's an art and a uniqueness to distressing, and you can't just, I mean, you could try to distress, but there is a uniqueness to it. And I don't know, I'm not the most like DIY-ish type of crafty individual. So I just really didn't know if I really wanted to spend more time on this paint. I wanted to get it back in the room, the dresser, so that I could put the clothes in it of my kids and try to start and, you know, finish up the room, because I am in my 3rd trimester. So to me, it's just, I really I have other things to do too. So I'm just trying to like utilize and be smart with my time. So that was a factor. And my lower back is just, you know, having a hard time lately. So to me, it was more like, it looks really great now, what I did to it. The color's perfect for the room. There's nothing else in that room that is distressed. So if that was the only thing in there that's distressed, I think I would like to add some more vintage pieces into that room if I really eventually want to distress it. Good thing is I could go back in and distress it whenever I want and then seal it again. Also, I wanted to show you, and this is something that Shandice told me. So I bought this brush there, and I got this there. And it is like wire. Well, what you do is after each paint coat you put on, you run this under hot water with soap, hand soap. And you just take this and you just pull off all the paint. If you do that each and every time after you use it, even with the sealant, you will preserve the life of your brushes by a lot. So, you know, it's so much, it is easy to go out and get new brushes every time, and I understand that. But brushes are like good brushes, $16 to $18. That's when you know, need to kind of think about preserving your brush. So I advise you to get that. I don't know what this is called, HDX, and then I'm not sure exactly what it's called, but it's a wire type of bristle brush, and this is a paintbrush. Yeah, so I do advise you to do that if you are in painting DIY projects and you want to preserve the life of your, especially your expensive brushes. Definitely do that. And this, I believe it's synthetic, and so it just went on. This is Trilon, and it just went on super smooth, and as you can see in the video, you will see it just coat on. And this paint like literally paints over anything. And I mentioned that it paints over mirrors, and you could paint it over just anything, and then you could kind of distress it or pull it up. So I've been looking around the house like, what else can I paint with this? And I was thinking about our nightstands. But we do have like a lot of dark wood in our bedroom. So then I was like, I don't know if I really want to do that. But it's just good to know. And maybe you can buy some paint and do something crafty at home or for your kids' room. Because like I said, it's water-based paint. There wasn't any fumes. I didn't smell anything that was, you know, too much for me. I did paint it 2 coats. You could paint it 1 coat. Actually, I lie. Wait. I did paint it 2 coats. What I was going to do is paint the structure 2 coats and paint the drawers 1 coat. But what I ended up doing was painting them both 2 coats, and it actually ended up working out fine. I like the color. I want to still possibly distress the knobs because the knobs were white before, so I might want to sand those down and just kind of make them just have some grit to them. I might eventually still do that, but other than that, I just wanted to get it in the room so that I can put my son's clothing in there, because he has clothing he hasn't yet grown into yet, and just kind of be done with that, because this weekend was all about getting all their room completely done with bins and with everything, with storage, and that was a huge part that I really wanted to do. And I saw this Vintage La Mesa paint, and I said, you know what? I said I needed to paint this, and I'm about doing right now and getting things completed. I'm totally nesting, and I don't know why I'm nesting, because I'm still a little ways out, July. So, but hey, if your body's telling you to keep going and something's in you just revving you up, just do it, because you don't know when you're going to have that energy again. So I am just knocking everything out that I can. And yes, it is a little tiring, but it feels good in the midst of it all. So follow me, follow Vintage La Mesa on Instagram. I will put these links and things below so you can check them out. Go follow Vintage La Mesa. Thanks.